Darol and Keedra. To everyone who needs a friend, a strange friendship. Darol stood in his boat and fished on the river just west of Dorset Reach, on a sunny, warm, and beautiful day when he'd rather have played at the beach. But fishing was how he supported himself with his parents and sister away. He had no idea how soon they'd be back, so he needed to earn his own way. The water was calm as he gazed at the surface, watching fish dart the weeds below. Many of them would make a full meal, and his stomach was growling so. His beautiful giant water beetle, Happy, was peacefully resting nearby, still in his harness in front of the boat, sunning beneath the bright sky. But suddenly ripples formed on the water. Darol heard a quick splashing behind. Another boat suddenly rushed right past with recklessness of the worst kind. Darol's boat started violently rocking, and he tumbled headlong in the river. He lost his favorite fishing pole, so his temper was hotter than ever. He came up sputtering and spitting out water, and soon caught a glimpse of the villain. He yelled, "Keedra, you fool! Look what you've done! Why can't you be like other women?" A giant green fish in a thick leather harness pulled Keedra's boat very fast. She steered the fish around back toward Darol, who continued to curse and splash. She swiftly pulled up and said, "Let me help you," while quickly extending her hand. But Darol wanted to teach her a lesson, so his fury she'd understand. He grabbed her arm and tried pulling her in, but she was so terribly strong. With one arm she pulled him right out of the water, and his anger did not last long. She happily joked, "No one messes with Keedra," as she set him right down in her boat, then merrily guided her fish up the river, while Darol felt certain she'd gloat. Meanwhile, Happy pulled Darol's craft alongside as though having a race. Keedra joyfully took the challenge, and her fish kept a powerful pace. Soon they were back in Dorset Reach and pulled up at Keedra's pier. She lent Darol her blanket, led him to her porch, where they ate cheese and drank apple beer. Darol could never stay mad at her long, for he found her so fascinating. Though a girl, she was stronger than two grown men, with a mind quick and calculating. Keedra liked him too, for though he was small, he worked hard and had a kind heart. Adventurous also, and often traveling, looking for his next journey to start. But Keedra still dreamed of another great love from back when she was a child, the most brilliant and thoughtful boy she had known, who had always been gentle and mild. Lauren and Siri arrive. On the beautiful flying white unicorns, the two friends soared over the river. They didn't see Darol's boat on the water, but knew he'd be out in this weather. Siri knew all of her brother's friends and said, "Keedra may have dropped in. I cannot imagine such a strange friendship, but she's always been good for him." Lauren felt his heart warming inside, for Keedra had been his best friend back in his younger childhood days during sunny months with no end. Siri guided her mount to Keedra's house and saw her with Darol outside. She and Lauren were happy to land nearby after their long and very swift ride. Keedra hadn't seen Lauren in almost 5 years, yet her memory was clear as that day. She was delighted to meet him again, and hoped very much he'd stay. She thought he was the handsomest lad she had ever seen in her life. She remembered his brilliance as a mystic musician, and dreamed to some day be his wife. She once was an orphan, brought to the temple and helped by the dream lords there. Aged Tina had taken her in like a daughter, giving love, tenderness, and care. But Keedra's heart had always been wild. She taught Lauren to fish and hunt. They got into all kinds of terrible mischief, and for blame Keedra bore its brunt. Lauren wanted to give in return and tried teaching her music and magic, but she had no aptitude for such things. Then one day their lives became tragic. Tina died, and they were both devastated. Lauren tried to get Keedra to stay, but she couldn't stand living a disciplined life and needed to run far away. Lauren remained at the Temple of Dreams, always longing for Tina's return. Years later, Keedra wished she had stayed. Her desire for him would burn. Now here he was right in front of her eyes. She ran up and hugged him tight. She gasped, "I never thought I'd see you again. Life without you could never be right." Lauren hugged her back and held her close with fond memories of playing together. Yet his heart was still very far away, for he would love Tina forever. A plan. The friends sat together on Keedra's porch with shade and a wonderful meal, but Lauren was telling his plans and dreams with a nearly fanatical zeal. As he told them all of his love for Tina, his eyes had a heavenly look. He spoke of her portrait, Iminium Eisdor, dream grouping in the hidden lost book. He was certain he could restore her to life if he just found the ways and means. He asked Darol, "Have you ever heard of Iminium? His knowledge could fulfill all my dreams." Darol then mused for several long moments, recalling tales from the people he'd seen, the wondrous places on his many travels, and all the strange lands he had been. He looked at Lauren and said, "Far northeast there's a mysterious temple of white, 4 minarets surrounding a vast central dome, and it casts a strange glow in the night. Beautiful music floats far on the wind." Then Lauren cried, "That's it for sure! I must go there now, immediately! Who's with me on this adventure?" Keedra was entranced by his love for Tina, his devotion, and all of his hope. But she didn't believe in the mystical world. He'd be heartbroken, and she'd help him cope. She thought that Luceria was only a myth, and all of the dream lords were phonies, that Garsha and Philip were tricksters and cons who surrounded themselves with old cronies. Lauren would learn dream grouping was fake, that the temple was only a cult. Then he'd know he could never bring Tina back, and his dreams would lock up like a bolt. But Keedra would be there to open his heart and bring him back into the light. She spoke first. "I'll be with you to the end, Lauren. Your love for Tina is wondrous and right." The journey. Next morning the 4 friends prepared to leave and gathered up all of their needs in the flying white unicorn's saddlebags, while Keedra set her fish free in the weeds. Lauren and Siri would ride the male Fluffy, while Darol would fly on his beetle. Keedra would ride the female Puffy. They took flight as quick as a needle. They soared far east, where the river flowed past the towering frosty mountains, where dancing streams plunged into the water like glorious singing fountains. Far to the south stretched the mighty pine forest of giant trees without end. Then further on stood the awesome stone arches from whence Titan Falls would descend. Yet still farther east the mountain range ended, and the Kavasara River curved north, reaching deep into the hills of Adar, where ancient legends sprang forth. Yet even with all this wondrous beauty, Lauren's heart was still far away. While his friends all greatly enjoyed their journey, all he could do was pray.